Welcome again. This is the Earl, and welcome again to another segment in addition to Adirondack Natives Historic Preservation. Welcome you again today. Just want to swing my camera over here. We're going to take a look at a few things today, and we're just adding once again to Barker's store in Edinburgh. There's a lot of information, so I'm going to be making several additions. This is from a gentleman by the name of Raymond W. Smith, New York State Office of Parks, and this just certifies that the Barker store was made into a historic landmark, and that its historical significance throughout the 1840s, 1850s. It also has historical significance and concurrence to what we've already been talking about, with Barker Store being a place for the Underground Railroad. Sir William Johnson. We talked about that yesterday, and this just documents from another source, which I want to continue to do that, because I want to show that I'm not just coming from this from one angle. I've attempted to try to get as many sources as I possibly could. It's copywritten 1997 through 2017 by the Gumbush Group. I'll spell that for you. It's the Gum, or a Gam, or however this is. Gombach Group. Gombach Group. Copywritten by them. And there you can see their information there at the bottom of the site. That's our first example for today. And I'm going to move over here to another example. This is Edinburgh.com. It's official post office history website. You can go to that and go to Google and just look that up, Edinburgh.com / post office history HTML. That's that. This just gives further another example and another concurrence and addition to not only Edinburgh but the post office, and Mr. Barker and his wife. It tells a little bit about the history. 1844, 1820s, 1857 through 1863. Obviously, the time for the Civil War and slavery. This is just further information to show that Barker's store is a legitimate place. Not only holds a legitimate place as far as historical value, but historical heritage, and these people that live there and survive the harsh conditions of winter. And if you've ever been to Edinburgh and have been there a couple of times, it's not an easy place to get into, and it's not an easy place to get out of. There's basically one main road that goes into that center of that town, and it's really windy, and you really have to take your time. I would not want to be traversing that area in the dead of winter. Most certainly wouldn't want to be traversing it in the time of the French and Indian War, or the Revolutionary War, or even the Civil War. So that's that reference. And you can see at the bottom of the page, it also documents that the Edinburgh Town Hall being on the military road in Edinburgh. So Edinburgh has that significance as well too. We see other examples like in Hudson Falls, New York, up through Route 4 and Fort Edward, down into Fort Edward around or by the school. We see that labeled with a historical marker for the military road during the Battle of Lake George, in that time frame. And that road actually dates, as far as the military road, still technically the military road, but it also dates right up until the Civil War time period, being called being called part of the military road conjunction of roads that would have been there, and obviously the roads that were established. We see the roads that would have been established during the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War weren't really roads. They were more like paths, dirt paths that these men and warriors, Native Indians, Mohawks, Abenaki, and other Native Indian tribes would have traversed probably several times a day. And we're just going to go over here again. And this is from Colin L. Miller. I'm going to give him props. It's ColinLMiller.com. Family, Barker, John Barker, 1800. You see the website there. There you go. And this just tells us a little bit about John Barker and his genealogy and his wife, Alice Cornell. And shows a picture of them. Let me get out of there. Good looking couple for that time period. And it gives more of the Barker family genealogy. So this is more of a genealogy source, but once again, it concurs with everything that we're finding about the Barkers. And you can look up these names. You can click on their links. As you can see, my mouse scrolling down there. And it gives John Barker's you see Charles, Rhonda, Henry, and Amos. And this was taken in 1850. Census place Edinburgh, Saratoga County, New York. And gives the roll number there, gives the page and the image. This is copywritten 2009 by Colin L. Miller. All rights received. I want to give him proper acknowledgement today. Let's well, we won't do that. We won't look him up, but you can look up Mr. Miller. I did a brief search about a week ago on him before I posted this today, and he has an extensive background as far as genealogy, history, very schooled in American history, and he's definitely a delight to look at his information and look at his work that he's done. This is just a collaboration, really, of work that I've come across. I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to go over to this source. This just documents that Baker's store is on the National Registry for Historical Markers, and the site here is historicalmarkersproject.com, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's really long. And once again, it documents the historical significance of Barker's store. I'll give some of the same pictures that you'll see that my wife and I took on the day that we were there. And a few other different ones there. I'm not sure what this one is, but I think that's the porch to the store. And this is the store was built in this documents. The store was built, in 1847 by Mr. Barker. Operated the store until 1945, Second World War time period. And once again, we have another source saying that this very well could have been a stop for the Underground Railroad, as we see right there under the title of inscription. So once again, we are just adding to the historical value of not only Edinburgh, but to you see the details. You see Underground Railroad buildings. This is just amazing. Let's see what happens if when we click on that. I want to take a look at that. I saw this the other day, showing historical markers tag with abolition and Underground Railroad. So Leavenworth was founded, and it talks about Leavenworth. Let's see, so there's Old Stone Church. This is obviously well, this is like 77 pages long, but I'm assuming that Barker's store is in this list, or it would not have been a link on that original page. So this is this is this is a find for any history major that wants to continue to dig. As far as it even shows a map of where Edinburgh is located. Right there on the Sacandaga, near the Sacandaga Lake. You can see the Sacandaga Lake significance on how it would have flowed there into that area. Zoomed out there. So I apologize. So this is very historical, very significant, and it was tweeted by HMP, and there's another website that you can go to document the historical marker there. Let me get down to see if it has any copyrights, and it does. It's 2014, 2015 historical marker project, all rights reserved, and that's the information on that. Well, that's enough of that one. So we're going to move on to our next example. And this is a book. And it's Who's Who in New England. And there's a long subtitle there. I'm not going to read it. It's edited by Albert Nelson. And I'm going to kill his name. I apologize. Marquis. Marquis. That's how that's spelt. Second edition. 1916, first edition looks like 1909 there. Looks like it was published in Chicago by A&N Marquis and Company. And make sure we get that information. I don't see any copy. Oh, there we do. We do have a copyright date. I apologize. Copyright both in 1909 and 1915 by our author, Albert Nelson Marquis, I believe is how you pronounce it, Marquis. And then it has a date stamped there, December 2nd, 1915. So it just once again shows the significance of Barker's store. I'm going to get out of that window. I'm going to come over here. We can see that I pulled this up because I wanted to show you that and there's that. It's the same book. It's just another window. And this here I've already put in Barker Store Edinburgh, and it popped up for one page, which is 1171. I did locate the name about 2 weeks ago in this writing, and I'm not going to go through it and read it all to you, but it gives a list of stores and different locations and people's names that are associated with them stores, and I believe that Barker Store is in there. It popped up on a Google search for Barker Store being in there, so I'm assuming that it is. And it gives some highlighting up here. So there, I'm sure Barker Store is listed in there. And I'll just even scroll down to do my due diligence on 1172. Um, and that's some more names. Yep. Franklin Thomas, last names Thomas. Lindsay Noyes. Just different names. McGee, uh, Bosworth. There's a lot. Oh, can't pronounce that one either. So these names are just synonymous with this area, and you just go to Google and just type in Who's Who in New England, Volume 2, and just type in Barker Store, Edinburgh, New York. Google Books, type in Who's Who in New England, Volume 2, and then just type in Barker Store, Edinburgh, New York. And Edinburgh is spelled with a GH. I made that mistake when I was spelling it a couple weeks ago when I was attempting to try to get this up and running as far as significance. And I want to give a shout out today. Today is an appropriate day. I want to give a special thanks and a shout out to my wife, our daughter, and our niece. My wife Jenny, our daughter Jolissa, and our niece Jewel. They helped me get my YouTube page up, where you'll see this information shortly. And I just want to say thank you. Without you guys, none of this would be possible. And it just brings to life some of the things that I want to accomplish in my life, which is preserving history. And I want to preserve it at any level and any way I can. So thank you guys. I love you, and you guys are awesome. I want to go over here. Mr. Marquise Albert received the Lifetime Achievement Award, and this is I'll scroll in there. See that? Received this man was very important to not only American history but to obviously the literature world. You can see the actual document that he received. And just scrolling down there. And Marquise Who's Who is located in New Jersey. Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. I believe that's how you pronounce that. And this site is copywritten 2018 Marquise Who's Who Ventures LLC. And that's that example. And this is a PDF showing basically the same information, but it's from a different gentleman, Fred M. And I can't get his last name there. But this is a selection committee for the Marquise Who's Who. This is the committee that heads that website that we just looked up. And he was nominated for this in 2017. Once again, proving his significance in the historical. And many other people have gotten this. Professors, and I'm on this page. I want to show the significance of this gentleman. I'm going to scroll down here. This is 10 plus pages of people that got this award named after Albert Nelson Marquise Lifetime Achievement Award. Many people. So this gentleman, to have an award named after you is hugely significant in the historical community. I wouldn't even begin to even venture how significant the significance of it would be. So once again, I apologize. That's my Google Plus page. I want to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. And please like and subscribe to my page. You guys have a great day. This is the Earl. I'll see you next time.